Hi, I'm Justin Hodge, and in this lecture we're going to take a look at a policy brief. This is a follow-up to a previous lecture in this module in which we went over how to write a policy brief and all the core components of it. As we examine this policy brief, I'll highlight the different components that we discussed before, and I encourage you to follow along with the policy brief attached to this lecture. This is a policy brief from the Michigan League for Public Policy about proposed changes to the SNAP program. The title for this policy brief, Block Granting Food Assistance, an Unnecessary Change That Would Hurt Michigan Families, contains all the core components of a successful title that we explored in the previous lecture. We understand what the policy is that's going to be explored here. We know it's going to involve block granting food assistance. We also see a graphic here with a bag that says SNAP with food coming out of it, so we know this is going to be a policy brief exploring the SNAP program and that involves food, even if you're unfamiliar with the policy. On this slide, we explored the executive summary. As highlighted here, the executive summary is brief. It explores all the key components, such as what the problem is, policy recommendations, and why the author of this policy brief feels that the recommendations are appropriate. On this slide, we look at the different policy options explored in this policy brief. This is a bit different than we discussed in the previous lecture. This brief doesn't contain a matrix exploring the policies in great detail. They just talk about the different options. They do so early in the brief here just to orient the reader. On this slide, we take a look at the problem description. The area highlighted in red and then the graphic to the right is the entire problem description for this policy brief. In addition to describing the problem, it also provides background on previous policies that have affected our current state of affairs. For example, they give a brief detail about TANF and how that's impacted the SNAP program. On the right side, you can see a couple of charts that provide some helpful information as you analyze the problem. This slide takes a look at the policy recommendations that the author makes. It's rather brief because they've sufficiently made their case throughout the entire policy brief. And this policy brief did not contain an appendix, but they did use sources, and it's rather brief, and it's at the end of the policy brief so that it does not disturb the reader as they look through. This is just one example of many excellent policy briefs on the Michigan League for Public Policy website. Feel free to explore the website to see other examples and think how you would want to construct a policy brief of your own.